My name is Conrad Saam. I have run marketing over at Avvo for about the last 5 years, and I'm speaking at the PILMMA event coming up in Atlanta, and I'm going to be talking essentially an hour on the SEO fundamentals. And it's everything, and maybe it's not everything, but everything you really need to know to understand the foundation of how search engine optimization works. You can then take that understanding and apply it very tactically to your own efforts. Yeah, so this is really, really important, and if you go back, even 5 years ago, people would always tell me that, well, my business, all of my business comes from word of mouth, but the reality is that word of mouth has moved online. So the pattern that we see regularly when people arrive at Avvo is you will get that referral, say, at your kid's soccer game. Oh, you need an immigration lawyer. You should really talk to, let's say, Fred Smith again. He is the best guy. And instead of calling Fred Smith right away, what I do as that prospective client is I'm going to research Fred Smith. And I generally start with Google or maybe Bing or Yahoo. And I do some research, and I type in attorney Fred Smith or maybe immigration attorney Fred Smith, and I do some research because this is a really important decision that I'm making about who I'm going to hire for my legal issues. This is pretty high stakes if I'm dealing with a legal issue. And what we offer and what lawyers should be thinking about is what happens when people research that name. What are the results that show up in the search engines when I type in immigration attorney Fred Smith? And to the extent that I can impact the content that people will read in those results, I should. So the first thing is going to be the foundational understanding of how search engine optimization works. And there's a lot of confusion and different theories and changes in the technology of how this works. But understanding that foundation of how, down to the very basics of how a computer can actually understand what a web page is about. Once you understand those fundamentals, there's a lot that you can do. The second thing that I talk about is an audit. It's a 10-step audit that an attorney can do on their own website to see whether or not they're missing some really obvious low-hanging fruit. And the third thing that I'll talk about is that importance of managing your online reputation and ways that you can proactively take hold of the results in search engines for your name or your firm's name. Where I get frustrated with conferences is where they tend to be very pie in the sky, this is the direction of technology over the next 5 years. Or they often tend to be people showing off their number of Twitter followers. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. What you want, in my opinion, if you're going to take the time and money to attend a conference like this, is tactical stuff that you can go home and implement today. And that's what Ken's done a great job of bringing together speakers for. What Ken does, and one of the reasons that I love PILMMA, is he really focuses on helping his members and attendees to these conferences understand enough so that they can get really good value from whatever marketing solutions you might be looking at. And that's why I love this organization.